Shalom, shalom, family. Pay attention to the pinned comment. All right. There's a link to other platforms that I'm on. Let me do a sound check. All right. Shalom, Shanae. Israel. All right. Let me get right on into it. The gold rush? No, I ain't heard about it. I ain't heard about the gold rush fire. Wait a minute. It happened last week. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot more stuff going on. You understand? All right, let me see here. Okay. Let me see. Do a little sound check. Make sure. All right. Let me see here. All right. Now, matter of fact, let him speak for itself.
He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took.
This man is a criminal. 34-time convicted criminal. The criminal gets to dictate who the criminals are. Ain't that something? But let me continue.
Many people off the streets of Washington, D.C., they're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals.
Okay. He just said it's a hardcore people that's killing. Okay, where the arrest of the killers? Why y'all getting folks with low-level misdemeanors? The math ain't mathing. The math is mething. The math is on meth. It's on drugs.
Hardcore criminals. You know, we took it's out of control, and everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals.
Now, as I progress in the message, according to that logic, these so-called criminals, he's talking about black folks, they ain't going to be good in 10 years, 20 years, and so forth. So because they just born to be criminals. Now, let's walk back in time into history. These folks have been stealing, killing, and destroying the whole time. So is it safe to say that they are born criminals? Is it safe to say we shouldn't be worried about them changing? I'm not worried about them changing. Huh? But where I do stop short, I know everybody ain't in that category. But I'm not going to look for you. You understand? Let me keep going.
Frank.
They need the prisoners. The prisoners does not need them. America needs slave wages. The slave don't need America. See, I'm going to get into it. Just hold what you got.
They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place. And you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband.
All right, let's move on. All right. What's the definition of a criminal? A person who has committed a crime or is associated with crime. Now, crossing the border illegally is a crime. If you are using them to do work that cross the border illegally, you are a criminal too. You are associated with a crime. Now, what you don't see is people hiring illegals going to jail. That's what you don't see. The real criminals ain't being accused of a crime, so that per capita stuff don't work. As long as they control the books, the media, what gets published and what gets not, the laws, the court system, it's a lie, okay? You can't trust it. The term crime itself refers to an unlawful act punishable by a state or authority. Neither the state nor the U.S. government is locking up these corporations that's hiring illegals. See, when we get a job, we got to have evidence, proof of citizenship. Birth certificate, ID, social security number. So there is no excuse for them to be hiring illegals talking about, I didn't know they was illegal. It's a perfect, there is a decision made. They are hiring them because they don't have to pay them as much as they have to pay us. See, you said, why they have to pay us so much? We have to pay for medical. They are using tax dollars that we pay for and getting free health care. Stuff like that. I've even asked, this was a legal alien, this was a legal citizen. I said, man, do they pay y'all? Because I want to know. I don't want to just be talking and don't know what I'm talking about. I said, do they pay y'all less than what they pay everybody else? He said, yeah. I said, that ain't right. I mean, you're doing the same job. You should get the same money. See, if you paid legal immigrants the same money that you paid everybody else, that they would lose interest in hiring illegal. See, you see how that works? But let me keep going. Now, let me go over here right quick. Let me go over here. You got private prisons on the stock market. Now, how is it in this country's best interest for people not to go back to jail when people is becoming millionaires and billionaires from people being in jail, essentially slaves? Make it make sense. It makes sense. They are lying. See, now I've said this several times. Before I got out, the Most High started showing me what to do. I had close to $10,000 in fine. Been worked about 5 years in prison. How come I couldn't get no money, have it saved up, even in a bank, if the money just sit there and draw interest? Why not? But they don't do that. But anyway, working for about 5-6 years, no money, about $10,000 in fines. Well, 9,000, probably about 800. Over close to $10,000 in fine. This is when you get out from sitting up for 6 years. It was 6 years. Got to pay the probation officer every month. Okay, $10,000. Pay the probation officer. You got to eat. You can't get no government housing because you got a record. You can't get none of that. Place to stay, child support. You understand? They want you to go back. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. Okay? Now, they got a high recidivism rate. I'm just going to see, this is a dangerous weapon to have pointed at us. All right, now, look at this. Corporations that use prison labor. Let me go to the images up here. see here. All right. This is just some. This is just some. You understand? So if they're using prison labor, how come they can't get them a bank account and put that money back where they ain't looking at homelessness and hopelessness when they get out? Huh? Slave labor. Let me keep going. Let me go back. There's some military contracts up here too. Let me see. It look like a whole list right here. This is 2020. But you got military, you got the U.S. Military using prison labor. Let me see here. Think about those. Those are good paying jobs. How come they can't get those jobs when you get out? That's another thing. You're good enough to work. You're good enough to work high-tech jobs in prison, but when you get out, you can't get those jobs. Y'all see how that works? I'm looking. Yeah, you got coders behind bars. Y'all see this? These are high-paying jobs. But no, they're not going to hire you. They're just going to use you up. They're just going to use you up and then kick you out when they get done using you. But I'm just showing y'all the rabbit hole, but I'm finna get back on track. Now. All right. Now look at this. Private prison quotas. Private prison, that means when they build a private prison that's on the stock market, they sign a contract. Look, this is a contract. This is a guarantee to remain 80 to 100% full. The prison. So they are betting on people going to prison. And you wonder why when you get out, you homeless. You wonder why when you get out, you ain't got no money that you've been working for when you was in prison. No, nothing. All right, these quotas can incentivize states to keep more people incarcerated. Matter of fact, while we on that, they want to keep you locked up. Let's go to this. Now, Kamala Harris wanted to keep inmates in prison. You see, it don't matter if they Democrats or Republicans. They got their hands in the cooking jar. All right, now, as California Attorney General, Kamala Harris led a team that fought to keep more people in prison so they could fight wildfires. Now, don't go home and try to build your family up and keep your kids from coming to prison. No, don't go home. We need y'all in here fighting fires. They need y'all. It began when federal courts ruled that California prisons were overcrowded. This is the federal, all right, staff attorneys in Harris' office said releasing low-level, these are the ones that's less likely to commit violent offenses. See, these are the ones, if you had a choice, you don't want Hannibal Lecter out on the street. You want somebody low-level offenses. You understand? But they want to keep those and call themselves the Department of Corrections. All right. Harris later reversed that position, because you're getting backlash, saying her staff attorneys had made the argument without her knowledge. Anyway, let's get over here. Let's go to Louisiana. I know y'all ain't forgot about this. Oh, y'all can't hear that. Hold on. Y'all can't hear that. Hold on. Let me do this and go back into it. Y'all can't hear that. Hold on. All right. Hold on. Let me do this.
I don't want state.
Shalom,
prisoners,
DSB.
okay? They are a necessary evil to keep the doors open, that we keep a few or keep.
Hello.
They are a necessary.
All right. Sound is working.
Keep some out there. And that's the ones that you can work. That's the ones that can pick up trash, the work release programs. But guess what? Those are.
Why not hire somebody? You got unemployment. Why not hire somebody to pick up trash? To lower, they act like they pretend, they lie, they go lower unemployment. But he's whining and complaining that prisoners is getting out to go home to be with their families. They ain't gonna have nobody to pick up the trash. Shalom, everybody. Y'all listen. This is Louisiana.
I don't want state prisoners, okay? They are a necessary evil to keep the doors open, that we keep a few or keep some out there. And that's the ones that you can work. That's the ones that can pick up trash, the work release programs. But guess what? Those are the ones that they're releasing. In addition to the bad ones, and I call these bad, in addition to them, they're releasing some good ones that we use every day to.
If they some good prisoners, shouldn't they get out? Huh? That's why they want to hold that record. They want that record to follow you everywhere you go. Unless you Donald Trump, or unless you white. Then they got all kind of trickeration and loopholes where it don't show up on the record. Donald, he been convicted 34 times, and look where he at. Huh? Look where he at. But anyway.
That we use every day to wash cars, to change oil in our cars, to cook in the kitchen.
Now, they using inmates to wash cars, to cook. That sounds like jobs to me. You understand? Now, you can't tell me everybody that's homeless don't want to work. You can't convince me of that. Who went to school and said, I want to be a drug dealer when I grow up? Who went to school and said, I want to sleep up under the bridge when I get older? Who went to school and said that? How about y'all go around the city, talk to these homeless folks, pay them at the end of the day. That's what the Bible's pay them at the end of the day. Somebody gonna come because they gonna get paid at the end of the day. You got my work today. I want my money today. See, this is a wicked system that's not founded on biblical principles. Somebody gonna do that job.
To do all that where we save money, well, they're going to let them out.
All right, there y'all see it. Let me move on. Let me see here. I think I covered that. I went there. Let me see. Now, let me go back. Now, Trump said, in case y'all missed it, since y'all just came in, Trump said, you know, he talking about black folks. He just said, we just criminals. He said, and then up in the flipping around. Y'all listen. Let me go out and make sure it come back. Make sure the sound come back. I'm going to make sure the sound come back. Hold on. I see y'all just coming in. Y'all see that link that's pinned to the top in the comments? Y'all see that link pinned to the comments? That's where all my channels is at. Okay? All right.
I would say Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good.
All you got to do is go back and see who got arrested. They ain't arresting hardcore criminals. Where's the pounds and miles of drugs? Huh? Where is the cold cases being solved? This man, if his lips is moving, he's just about lying.
In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals.
Now, hold it in mind. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they was born to be criminals. Okay, let's walk in history. Let y'all walk with me. Okay. Now, here's another thing. The U.S. has a high recidivism rate. Then I'm gonna get to where I'm going. 70 to 82% of formerly incarcerated people are rearrested within 5 to 10 years of release. That's because the deck is stacked. That's by design. See. This is a safety risk to everybody. If you don't give nobody, they working while they in there, make them corporations pay them so they can have some money stacked up when they get out, and they ain't looking at your wallet and your purse, and they ain't looking in your house. See? All right? But let me go on. Let's get to the criminals. The estimated of people killed because of colonization. Yeah. An estimated 56 million indigenous people in the Americas died between 1492 and 1600 due to criminals. Number one, the commandment, they killed. Number two, they stole. See that? Criminals. So they was criminals back then. Over 400 years ago, they criminals now. So according to his logic, ain't no hope for these folks. They are born to be criminals. They've been doing the same thing since the beginning, right? Right? If you ain't a criminal, then why are you offended? You must be a criminal. If you offended, you must be a criminal. If you're not a criminal, why are you offended? Hold on. Let me close something. Okay, let me try it this way. What's going on here? Let me see here. Okay, hold on. Now they coming up. Look at all these criminals, y'all. Look at all these criminals. Just look. Look. All these criminals getting ready to watch somebody be died. Remember the definition of a criminal. Hold on, let me see. The definition of a criminal, a person who has committed a crime or is associated with crime. That's the definition of a criminal. Born criminal. Now look right here. All of these are criminals. And on Judgment Day, the Most High gonna show them. See, he gonna show them. All they associated with a crime. They criminals, born to be criminals. You say that's a little harsh. Okay, well, okay. Okay. I'm not finna, I know all of them ain't like that, but I'm not finna waste my time trying to see which devil is a good devil. Look at here. These are kids in the KKK. You wondering why black children go off with a boatload of white kids and the black kid end up dead and they can't get their lie together and no one goes to jail? You trying to figure that out, huh? Huh? If you don't never fix the problem, if you don't never make criminalize this, You don't make this illegal, we gonna keep getting what we getting. Black folks, the only one there dead. No one goes to jail. Few far in between. Born criminals. There you go. There you go with that Roman salute, Nazi salute, whatever you want to call it. There you go. Associated with a crime. Now, by that definition, you know, they lock black folks up for being associated with gang members. So they've elected Klan people. Let me see here. They've elected, you know, I've done a video on it. I'm not going to keep digging. They've elected Klan members and white supremacists to political office. So those making government, knowing these folks was white supremacists and they in political office, by this very definition, they are criminals. See, when it's black folks, my cousin might be a gang member. We riding together in the car. We ain't on no gang business. But since he in the car with me, I'm going to jail with him too. But a white supremacist can get elected in public office and be associated with lawmakers, but they are not criminals. But anyway, I think I stated the case. But yeah, Kate, like I said, we could never catch up on the thuggery. We can never catch up, and we don't want to catch up. If we did, why would we be waiting? You understand? You got the criminal in chief that calling everybody else criminals. All right, family. Yeah, the pot is calling the kettle criminal. Let me see. All right, family, this just sharp, y'all. You know, yeah, they calling us criminals, but I submit to you. I submit to you. They are the criminals. They are the criminals. They consenting with the Criminals Act, right? They okay with an unlawful, unjust murder. They are criminals by the very definition of the word. But don't be discouraged, family. Their kingdom is coming to an end. Them low birth rates, judgment is up on them. Watch these devils, though. Watch these devils. Just because they got the military, you know the Bible is supposed to look like that. All right, family. Shalom.